So let's talk about Blue Ivy Carter. Yeah, she's set for life. She has more passport stamps than I can even imagine. But she's also a target. At 4 years old, she's routinely subject to misogynoir, that is racist gendered attacks. And it's only gonna get worse. Since Blue is a toddler, people have had plenty to say about her hair, and now they're going in on her looks. She arrived at the 2016 VMAs with her mommy Beyonce, and as soon as pictures and videos emerged, lowlifes on the internet started to call her ugly. They did this publicly with no kind of shame. Like a lot of little girls, Blue looks just like her daddy, and she's adorable. But Blue, as a celebrity kid, shows us an extremely high-profile example of how early little black girls are saddled with the dehumanizing baggage of white supremacy and patriarchy. This is a kid. Why would anyone even think to comment on her appearance? It's because we're taught early that calling a girl ugly diminishes her worth. And let's be real, a lot of the criticism of Blue is wrapped up in resentment about how good her life is gonna be. But it's an important reminder that there is no amount of money that will protect you from anti-blackness. And it's no surprise that all this is happening now. Speculation about what Blue was gonna look like started when she was still in the womb. And because Beyonce didn't spit out a clone, she's subject to even more hatefulness. Beyonce is a beautiful woman, but her beauty does not represent that of the vast majority of black girls. Calling Blue ugly because she has some of her daddy's features just underscores how much we've internalized a beauty ideal that leaves so many of us out. It's really sad that the worst thing a black girl can have is black features. Though if they're on someone else, that's another story. And the damage is so deep that even black people aren't completely comfortable with them. So many of us have heard and maybe made disparaging comments about dark skin, kinky hair, and wide noses. And we know exactly where that comes from. That's why I try to never reduce the mindsets of the people who participate in this stuff down to self-hate. That makes it so easy to villainize the people who are victims of the systems that abuse us. And truthfully, we're all working through it on some level. A lot of us are grown people walking around with open wounds. Growing up in a world that despises blackness produces a lot of trauma, and a lot of that goes unprocessed. And it shows up in stuff like calling a 4-year-old ugly. But there is a way out. I feel really lucky to have begun the process of working through all that stuff that was put on me as a kid. But I still have plenty of moments where I have to catch myself. So do not get me wrong. Just because we're all victims in this culture is not an excuse. That doesn't mean that we're off the hook. We as adults have a responsibility to work through it for the benefit of the kids that we come in contact with. And let's talk about all the layers of the Blue Ivy is so pretty, Blue Ivy is so cute defenses. I think Blue Ivy is cute as a button, but even if she wasn't pretty, that doesn't justify attacks. The gentleness that you show to a little black girl shouldn't be determined by how cute you think she is. And we also need to figure out ways to discuss black women, girls, and femmes who do not self-present as feminine without calling into question their value. Black girls already have plenty of institutional obstacles to face. They're being pushed out of schools, they're being sexually assaulted at epidemic rates. The least we can do as people who care for them in their communities is to offer them sanctuary with our words and our actions. I can literally remember things both positive and negative that people said to me when I was 5 years old. That stuff sticks. You have the opportunity to speak joy into a little black girl's life. Take it.